Whoa. 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 It's the illusion reporting for us. Sober Wednesday. It's the dude, this won't stop. Anyway, it's the illusion, dude, reporting from somewhere on spaceship Earth. Sober Wednesday, dude, where we spend tonight, it's going to be 45 minutes dedicated to the solution, dude, because life without a solution is completely unmanageable and crazy and out of control. So with that said, let's do the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. The wisdom to know the difference. I just came from Orchard, missing remote. Help us on the way. Yes. A fruitful relationship with God as we understand him is right there. So God, I just came from cleaning out a toilet, and it wasn't the toilet, it was people putting in paper towels into the septic system, and it got balled up, dude. The septic system got balled up with paper towels, dude. And that's a metaphor, right? That is a metaphor for life. So fortunately, I had the wisdom to know the difference between what are people thinking, dude? I don't know, dude. Dude, paper towels are so hectic on a septic system, dude. But yeah. So I got in there, dude. I just got in there, dude, with my tools and my stuff and handled business, dude. And it wasn't actually as horrid as I thought it was going to be. It was my first full-blown septic problem solved, dude. And not in our house, in our guest house. People in our house, no, but our guest house didn't. And I think there are such unfortunates, dude. Yeah. But yeah, people don't listen. And well, here we are, dude. So actually I solved the problem without getting annoyed, which is the best. And it was in the dark, of course. Like, as my wife said, she's like, well, at least it's not raining, because it was raining all day today. So we got it handled for the evening, dude. But dang, dude. So yeah, I think that's the somewhere in there, there's a sober metaphor. But should we read the preamble, dude? I'm gonna read the promises. We'll start reading the promises, I think, dude. Promises. What page? What page are the promises on? Page 83. Page 83, dude. So page 83. We need some promises tonight, man. I apologize for missing last Sober Wednesday. I forget what was going on. What was going on last Sober Wednesday? I don't know, but I don't think I made it, dude. I think I was absent. Life got 83. Where's the promises? Right? Is it 83, dude? Right. All right, here we go. The promises, dude. So this is not affiliated with AA. This is not an AA meeting. This is literally one alcoholic sharing his experience, strength, and hope, so that those who are suffering know there is a solution, so they don't need to take their lives. They don't need to drink. They don't need to shove pizzas in their face or genitals in each other or anything, or gamble or any of these things. There is a solution, dude. And So we're going to read the promises on page 83 of the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. I think I just said this is not an AA meeting or affiliated with AA, but I like some of the words in the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. So here we go. The promises. If we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we are halfway through. We are going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. We will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. We will comprehend the word serenity, and we will know peace. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of economic insecurity will leave us, and we will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. We will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. Are these extravagant promises? We think not. They're being fulfilled among us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They're always materialized if we work for them. If we work for them. So if we work for them, dude. So again, I think when we realize that the one that always gets me is we will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. We will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. And I forgot my light is broken, dude. Oh, bummers, bro. Dude. And the wisdom to know the difference, bro. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change and the courage to change the things I can. Like I could definitely fix that clogged up toilet, but I can't fix this, dude. I'm sure I could, but I don't know, dude. Anyway, dude. So goes life. So goes life, dude. Oh, harsh. I'm sure if I cut this plastic back and stripped, I have a soldering iron, so I should be able to fix this. I'm gonna try, dude. How about I try, dude? Dude. So yeah, let me say hello to everybody. Orchard, thank you. Eli, missing remote, thank you very much. Sir Talks a Lot 92, dude. I think some people can't handle sobriety or being high. Hobo Pro, Eli, Segmentafunafunafu, and Brian Pipes. How you doing, my brother? So yeah, dude, is I don't know what it is, man. I've watched some people. It's like I have a friend of mine who's one of us, right? And I relied on him we're members of a spiritual body, right? Let's just keep it vague. We're members of a spiritual body. And I watched this spiritual body kind of not handle things the way an alcoholic would, dude. Right. And I found it to be very interesting. So when the spiritual body that me and my friend who's a sober member of AA is like, a lot of the solution was all about these things that are in front of us. And it's interesting because right in the AA way of living, dude, like the first thing we had to admit we were powerless, right? We were powerless. Two, came to believe that power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity, then turned our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. And what I watched this week was step 3 without step 1 or 2. And it was very interesting to watch how step 3 doesn't really work without step 1 or 2. And it's because all of a sudden what gets put in front of step 3 is what you get rid of in step 5 and 7, right? Our character defects and all of this stuff. So I watched people in this spiritual body not react in an understanding of step 1 and 2, which we're powerless. This is unmanageable, and came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. And then we turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understand him. Like it's I think that there's like a weird end run where I'm outside people that are spiritual without sobriety tend to not truly grasp the unmanageable situation of this human condition and the powerlessness of this human condition, even though almost all spiritual literature and practices involve the understanding of this. But most people can turn their will and their lives over to the care of God as they understand them, and yet don't realize the unmanageability and the powerlessness of it. And fortunately for me, I had a member of AA who was part of this spiritual body with me, and I was able to rely on him, like in that sense of, I called him up and I was, I don't like what's going on here, dude. This isn't, this isn't 10th step stuff, right? Like, so, right, part of the AA thing so I don't know if people truly understand is like AA comes from a Christian perspective, right? But what they did that was super smart within AA was they removed the specific nature of what God is, because they realized at a certain point that people were going to get sober that didn't believe in God, don't absolutely are questioning God, and what just happened right there? I don't like that, dude. Whoa, I don't like what just happened in did that just come through did that just happen in my video on YouTube, dude? That ain't cool, man. Wait a minute, dude. Whoa, because I just updated my thing. I don't like that, dude. No way. Let's see does it do this? I don't like that, dude. Dude, how do we turn that off? No way. Not a fan of that. But dude, talk about so anyway, let's not get distracted. That was distracting. So what I'm getting at is darn, that just that was the devil intervening right there, because all right, get back to where I was at. The spiritual solution, right? So if we look at, all right, now I know where I'm at with this thing. So if we look at like AA, like as a sober person, and this is why you want to be sober. I know many people that are on the precipice of being sober, but don't really get like the benefit of being sober. One of the benefits of being sober is we continue step 10, right? And it's step 10 because you have to kind of go through these other parts first. But step 10 is a hugely powerful thing. Continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. I watch people that are members of a spiritual body not practice step 10. And actually that's what made it all worse, right? Was not practicing step 10. And again is if we truly understand what the 12 steps alcoholics are for in the big book Alcoholics, they can be applied to anything. And what I think's very interesting is, and I've talked about this a bunch. This is the clogged pipe I'm talking about, the spiritual clogged pipe, right? Like when I got sober, I believed in God. I did not believe in the human being's interaction with God, because I saw the folly of those interactions all over the place. Preachers doing meth and getting weird in closets, and one group of Muslims like suiciding, bombing another group of Muslims, dude, and atheists invading Tibet, and the craziness of Christians through the Crusades versus Jerusalem, and then just the Protestant Reformation, and the Church of England and all these things. So when I got sober, like I believed in God, but I was super skeptical about men and women and their promoting of said God, right? And so for me, what enabled me to actually find God was in a meaningful relationship. Like I understood God existed, right? Like I understood God existed. I couldn't make, I've already talked about this a bunch. I couldn't make contact with God. I knew God was there. And I always talk about it like in Indiana Jones, when they show the behind the scenes of how they made the temple scene where he's in the temple and there's all the snakes and vipers and all the stuff. And you're like, whoa. And then they show you the behind the scenes that there was a sheet of plexiglass between Harrison Ford and the snakes, right? And that was my experience with God prior to sobriety. Was the alcohol and drugs were the plexiglass between my relationship with God and God. And I couldn't understand what it was, dude. And I couldn't I couldn't make contact. I was like, I see God in the redwood trees and the ocean and the beautiful things that people can do and the intricacies of art and all of these things. And yet I just couldn't connect. And in the beginning of my journey, like little weed here enhance it all. And I drank some booze and things had this, I drank the spirits and the things happened. And then it just never worked again, dude. And I chased it. Like my first or third, I think it was my third time getting stoned. I never caught that vibe ever again, dude. Like I had moments where I could tap into it, but I never saw it again. Like the real thing that got me in on it, right? And same with all of them, right? It was a chase. I was constantly chasing them. So when I get sober, like I already, like the concept of God doesn't trouble me. I'm not like weirded out. I don't have a big problem with it. What I have as a problem is people and human beings and dealing with people, right? And sobriety is a team sport. Like I didn't get that in the beginning, but we can't get sober without other people in our life, like and other sober people in our life to help us when the chips are down. And what I saw was through these steps, I was able to like cleanse my baggage and be able to go to God, right? If we look at step 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. That's some pretty heavyweight stuff, but we do that after we turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understand them. And then step 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, and another human being the exact nature of our wrong. Like that's like all spiritual practices have step 5 in them. You know, if you want, it's the confession. I don't know what it is in the Muslim world or the other practices, but as a Christian, you know, you go and you confess, dude. You repent. Repenting is step 5, if you will. And then you work on all your character defects that caused your trouble. See, and then you made it right with all these people in step 9, and then 10, and then 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood him, praying only for knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry that out. So I saw this week a level of people that are super involved in a spiritual institution not have this, dude. Because if they had this, there wouldn't be the chaos that has ensued since. And again, it was a people thing, right? Because I think one of and again, I'm promoting sobriety and I'm promoting right now people going to meetings of like-minded people to achieve sobriety. And I know people don't like it, but what I'll tell you, one of the great gifts of getting sober in a group of like-minded individuals is you learn that you don't need to like them. You don't need to have similarities with them because you share a common bond. Your life was destroyed by your actions of intaking mind-altering substances, right? And so when we go sit in a room of Alcoholics Anonymous or NA or CA or MA or whatever A it is, we're sitting with a group of people that we wouldn't want to talk to out in the real world, but we get along because we know that if we don't get along, we're doomed. And what I saw here was this weekend was not the understanding of that we have to be able to get along. We have to be able to find common ground. And what I've learned about my journey is the common ground has to be broken, right? Like, and that's the thing is spirituality on the surface is easy. It really is, dude. I could sit and gloss it up all day and make you think it looks a certain way. But the thing that I've always tried to talk about in sobriety and in spirituality and in family life and in homeschooling and in gardening and in fixing a toilet is it's down and dirty underneath the surface. It's combat. It's ugly. It's not namaste. It's not that. It's not green smoothies in yoga pants, dude. It is brutality. And the most brutal thing that you have to face in a spiritual setting, as well as in a sober setting, is yourself, dude. And that's why, like, AA or these practices, I'm doing a little bit of promoting of this tonight because I saw what the difference was between myself and my sober brother in this spiritual institution, trying to figure out why all these non-sober people caused all this chaos, right? And when I say non-sober, I don't mean that they're alcoholics. I don't mean that at all. I mean that sobriety is about applying these principles that we learn in the 12 steps to all aspects of our life, right? So when something comes up, let's say it's disagreements with other people or different, like this is the stuff that trips me out. Like, I can have a totally mutually beneficial sober experience with someone who doesn't believe in God, with someone who questions God, the atheist and the agnostic, someone who's a Muslim, someone who's a Buddhist, someone who is a Jew. I can have that. AA bridges all gaps, right? Because underneath the common bond is we're just trying to save our lives, man. We don't want to drink again, no matter what. And we know that we have to get along with these people of different realities in order to do that. And I find that the interesting thing is people that share the same actual spiritual practice are in conflict with each other. How does that happen? How can I be a sober dude who actually depends upon people that I am absolutely in conflict with, people that I absolutely fundamentally on an outside level disagree with, dude, right? Like, I got sober with people that I would not spend any time talking to out in the real world. And yet I depended upon them to get sober. They're my sober brothers and sisters. And that's what I found is the beauty of AA is it doesn't matter where or when. Another member of Alcoholics Anonymous will put their hand out to help me, dude. They aren't going to look at me and go, "Oh, dude, you're too right wing for this." They'll be like, "Dude, you need to help getting sober," and they won't care because it doesn't matter. And what's interesting is watching people in a spiritual practice, because they haven't done these steps and truly understand that these steps are the key to a healthy, and in fact, they're all their literature and their books and their words from on high say all of this. And this has been refined down. These 12 steps and this how it works have basically taken all this and refined it down to a tincture, if you will. And so I watched the pipes get super clogged this week. And it was this thing. I watched people not continue to take personal inventory of themselves. Because because personal inventory of yourselves means restraint of pen and tongue, dude, right? Because when why you practice these things and they're in order. Step 10 is down the line because you're going to monkey this scene up, dude. You're going to go like lose your mind. You're going to yell at people. You're going to send stupid emails. You're going to say a bunch of stupid stuff. But when you do step 9, see, step 9 comes before 10. Like step 9 comes before 10. Made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except to do so would injure them or other. When you have to do step 9 enough times for your bad actions, you take step 10 way more seriously. You take step 10 way more seriously, having done step 9 so many times, having blown it so many times, and having to like basically like once you're sober, like, so once you've made the commitment to be sober, right? And you do the work and you do the 12 steps and you did the 12 step, which is having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps. We try to carry this message to alcoholics and practice these principles in all of our affairs. Once you're doing that, you realize that all these blunders in your life, these mistakes, these whatever are, you basically just got to start at step 1 and work through the 12 steps. You can do it in a split second if you need to. But like anytime there's conflict in your life, no matter what it is, whether it doesn't matter whether you're right or wrong. That's not the point. Is conflict is where you get to apply your sobriety, dude. See, that's what I was saying about these people. They're not alcoholics, but they're not sober either. Because see, sober people apply these principles in any situation where negativity shows up. Because again, all you got to do is admit that you're powerless and that the situation's unmanageable. The minute you do that, like, why are you going to get invested in a negative spin on it, right? And then you go to step 2, right? Came to believe power greater ourselves could restore us to sanity. That just tells you, dude, that you don't even need to figure it out. Greater power. And then step 3, turn our will and life to care of God. We understood him. And hopefully you haven't done anything after that point to require 4 through 10 again, dude. Right. And so that's what sober is. It's not about the fact that you don't drink and you don't use drugs. It's the fact that you've learned and practiced these principles with a group of your peers that have helped you do it. Nobody intuitively in the beginning, like, right, if it's said in the promises, we intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. We have to learn what intuitive is by practice these principles in all of our affairs. We have to practice them over and over again. And the only way you can practice these things is to totally monkey the situation, right? That's the thing is no one among us is perfect. We're, I don't know. We have we claim spiritual progress rather than spiritual growth. They're guides to progress. We are not saints, dude. Oh, wait, where it is. No one among us has been able to maintain anything like perfect adherence to these things. The whole concept of being sober is knowing that you're going to blow it. And instead of pointing at anybody outside of yourself, you go right back in and go, dude, I'm the only one here. And the reason that this is turning crazy is because God isn't running the show, dude. And why isn't God running the show? And you will find out the reason God isn't running the show is because you've done something in that you, in step 5, we were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7, humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. You obviously didn't bring in God for 6 and 7, but most people don't. Most people of most spiritual understandings that aren't sober aren't really hip to this whole thing. We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character, right? Because it was just about like, I've become a member and I'm born again and whatever it is. And like, now I walk the walk, not understanding that like, by the very nature of us being human beings, we have to keep constant vigilance or we are going to blow it again and again and again. And I will tell you that I blow it every day. Every single day at some point, I blow it, dude. And I'm a practicing sober dude. But the difference is that I apply these principles pretty much as soon as I can. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I don't do step 10, continue to take personal inventory, and when we're wrong, promptly admit it. Sometimes I don't do that. And I let the pain and the chaos spin. And it grows and all of that stuff. And so what I'm getting at is sobriety, spiritual pride. They talk about in the meeting, sobriety comes first. And as weird as it sounds, like, yeah, but at the same time, God supersedes that. It's this weird conundrum, right? It's sort of the chicken or the egg, right? You can't have sobriety without a true spiritual connection of God, and you can't have a true spiritual connection of God without sobriety. Which one comes first? And that's why I kind of explained my story is like, by the very nature of what God is, God always comes first because God is, right? But underneath the thing is that's irrelevant if you're not sober enough to practice these principles in all your affairs, right? I used to know some surfer dudes who would say sobriety ends at the water's edge. And I was like, I can't live like that, dude. I can't get a free pass out in the ocean. That like I remember hearing that and just being like, dude, how sober are you, bro? That was me early sobriety, like super early sobriety, just being like, that doesn't make any sense. Because like, if I go out in the water, if I don't apply these principles in all my affairs, half of the people that I met in the ocean who were viewers, I would have screamed at, dude. The only reason that I even survived half the stuff on YouTube out in the ocean was that I remembered to be sober in the water too. And trust me, the ocean will test your sobriety anytime you get it, because it's got the humans out there. The ocean by yourself, dude, you're good to go, dude. You're powerless and unmanageable, dude. But you see what I'm getting is that this is an all-encompassing concept, this sobriety thing, right? But so and again, I just want to bring this up is not drinking or using drugs is abstinence. And abstinence may be fine. That may be all you can get for a bit. And abstinence is totally fine. Sobriety is doing the work and practicing these principles in all your affairs and helping another alcoholic achieve sobriety. But when you see another alcoholic achieve sobriety, like, that's the interesting thing, because once you truly understand how deep the sober concept is and what an alcoholic is, right? Like, what is an alcoholic, right? We suffer from a physical allergy to the substance, right? We have a spiritual malady and we have a mental obsession. So when you really get into these things, it is where I've moved, advanced as a sober human being, is to understand that anything that alters your like body chemistry and you get addicted to that is an alcoholic nature, because the anger triggers off all sorts of metabolic reactions that change your physical reality, dude. The same thing with joy and happiness and pleasure. That's why, like, like, you look at a lot of like people that get sober and they stop using the drugs and the alcohol, they lose their sobriety with pleasure seeking activities like promiscuity and gambling and all these things. Yeah, they may not be drinking and snorting coke and shooting speedballs or whatever, but they're off cheating on their husbands and wives. They're off gambling their lives away. Because why? Because those activities trigger off all sorts of bioelectrical chemical reactions within your body. And once that happens, right, the obsession's there. Like, you can look at what gambling does. See, like again, I'm no expert. This is my like kindergarten understanding. My understanding of how the physical reaction to gambling works. It's not winning, it's the losing. That is the And the same thing, man, is it's all over us, dude. That's why I always joked about the thing is like one of the most toxic activities I have is surfing because it does something to me. I've gotten way better at it over time, but I had to go move up to the mountains and like put some distance between me and the ocean, bro. And so that's what I'm getting on is the sober path is a blessing. And why this isn't an AA meeting is the sober path can be for anybody. You don't have to burn down your life on drugs and alcohol to achieve sobriety. You just got to admit these truths, right? And these truths, like that's like, again, if you understand how the steps work, there is only one mention of alcohol in the 12 steps. It's the first half of the first step. Everything after that. And again, why is the second half of the first step about unmanageability? See, these 12 steps can be applied to anybody, anywhere, at any time. Only the first. So if you read step 1, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. Like this after the dash, it's good. It's not like it's step 2 that about the unmanageability. It is the second half of step 1, which means that this can be applied to anybody's life, any circumstance, any reality. Where if you're not living to the fullest of your ability, it's probably because you're not sober, dude. And I question constantly my sobriety, dude, because not because like I'm gonna go drink or snort coke. It's because I wonder if I'm actually like doing this some days. Like, cause like the other day, like I got some like really like disturbing news and I lost my mind for a minute. But I was able to do like these steps like in the middle of losing my mind to the point where like it didn't turn into a full snowball effect. But yeah, like I'm still learning how to react to this insane world soberly, because in the beginning it had to be about the drugs and the alcohol. For me, that was like whatever part of it is for you. For me, it was about the drugs and the alcohol for a long time. It had to be. And at this point, like that's a given in my life, but that's not why I'm constantly striving to achieve sobriety. Like that whole thing, you'll hear people say, I'm a recovered alcoholic, dude. Like, what does that mean? Does that mean that you don't need to practice your constant journey of grace? Because that's all this is learning how to accept grace in all given situations. Because this is a very graceful group of steps that you can apply to basically any situation that is negative. And again, is life's easy when it's positive. Like when everything's going your way, like, look, man, 6 hours ago, I didn't have to apply any of these steps to the clogged toilet. Didn't even have to think about it. Just going about my life. But when it showed up, I had to apply these, right? I had to apply this situation there to the thing. And again, as most people don't have a simple 2-page outline what to do. They got a book that's 1,000+ pages long. And again, I don't deny the book, but what I'm trying to say is that's why in this setting I don't really talk a lot about being a Christian. Not because like I'm not, and I don't, because that's a deep dive on on a spiritual thing. But for someone just trying to get through the daily combat and not suck down a fifth of gin or a 8-ball or whatever it is, dude, it's right here, dude. It's 2 pages and it relies on other people. Like, that's the thing. You can read this stuff by yourself in the bathroom with your crack pipe, dude. Plenty of people do. Plenty of people read this stuff while sucking down their Tecates or their Sierra Nevadas or their Jack Daniels or their Cristal or whatever it is. And they can read these words. They don't mean anything unless you have another person there, right? Where 2 or more are gathered, there God is. And see, that's, again, this is all designed for a spiritual relationship. This is not designed ultimately just it is, but again, it comes down to this thing. This is designed to get you to be able to stop drinking and using drugs. Not because that's the sole purpose, is because this is a spiritual primer. This is meant to enable you to get deep into your spiritual practice. This is meant for you to be able to go in and do the deep diving on the 1,000+ page books, dude. This is for you to be able to grow in these things. But most people are stuck on the combat of life. And it's super complex, and they constantly bump into these problems, and yet they don't have these simple steps that can be applied in any given situation. This can be applied when the tire goes flat on the side of the road, dude. This can be applied when your parents are in the hospital. This can be applied when the airplanes are dropping the bombs, dude. These can be applied when the sun's zooming in and meltdown's expected, dude. These 12 steps can be really quickly applied, dude. And again, you don't need to carry this book. You can have your other books and understand that this can be applied like quicksilver once you practice these principles in all your affairs long enough, dude. Sobriety is a practice based upon the understanding of failing, right? Without failing, we don't get this. And that's the difference between the people that just join the spiritual practice. Have they really accepted their failings and understand that the failings were their blessing, dude? Because without being a drunk, drug addict idiot, I don't get to have a graceful relationship with God. You see what I'm saying? I would have just had some vanilla life. Not me. No, I had to burn it all down, dude. I had to burn it all down and get to the first point. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. Oh my God. What? It's not the government. It's not the boss. It's not the girl. It's not the dog. It's not a better car. It's not a trip to Tahiti. It's not a new surfboard. I'm powerless over alcohol. My life's become unmanageable. Dang, dude. Really? Really, dude? It's that? Oh, foiled again, dude. So with that said, man, I think you get where I was going. Look, this ultimately comes out of people I know that decided to take their own lives because their problems of unmanageability felt like they were completely unfixable. And what I would say to you, if you're thinking suicidal thoughts or you're thinking about taking your own life, please call one of the numbers, dude. And if someone could put up the numbers, I never remember what they are, dude. If you could, someone put up the numbers, and I should just write them down, dude. But undercover reaching people the church never could. Thank you, man. Thank you, 365. It's look, man, your life's important, dude. That's all I gotta say is your life's important. So please reach out and and allow someone to help you, dude. At least give someone that gift. I know it's counterintuitive, but when you ask somebody for help, you're giving them a gift because people want to be of value. And I tell you what, there is nothing more rewarding than participating in saving of someone's life. That is the most rewarding thing you will ever do. Everybody wants to be a hero, dude. Everybody wants to go run into the burning building or pull the people out of the car when it's flipped over in the river, or rescue the kid from in front of the bullet train. In sobriety, you get to do that like almost daily, dude, is save people from imminent destruction. And so if you're a person who's struggling, just ask for help. 988 is the code in the United States. The 3-digit suicide prevention code is 988. Just call that number, man. Ask for help, dude. There is no shame in asking for help because you're thinking about taking your own life, dude. It is an act of courage to ask for help, dude. And so please do that, and do it for my friends. And many of us have these friends out there who have taken their own lives, dude. Do what they didn't, which is to remember that your life's important to each and every one of us. We all need each other, man. Life's a team sport. And without you, there's no me. Floyd, thank you very much. And with that said, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go just maintain this reality, the very best of my ability, dude. So on the way out the doors, serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. All right, everybody. Be kind to each other, seek help wherever available, and use the name tags. This is The Illusion signing off for another edition of Sober Wednesday. We'll be back, God willing, next Wednesday, similar time. All right. Thank you very much.